Hey guys, Chastity and Greg here, back to break down Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 2, Far From Home.
Now, before we get started, of course, warning, spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen this episode yet, get out of here, go watch it, and then come on back here. Now let's jump into it.
Alright, so last week we got to see Burnham go through the wormhole and into the future, and this week we get to see what the rest of the Discovery crew went through when they went through the wormhole.
Yeah, they were knocked unconscious going through the wormhole, and now they're waking up. Saru's the first one, and he's screaming at everyone to get up immediately.
Wake up, asteroids!
Yeah, asteroids, they are crashing into this planet. It looks like it took some brunt force from something in the past at some point, as half of it's, like a piece of it, is off in space, and they are just crashing right through it.
So Discovery is unresponsive, critical systems are failing, there's multiple injuries on multiple decks, and then Detmer attempts to gain control as they crash right through an asteroid.
And then we get the scene where this has happened multiple times in Star Trek and Star Trek movies in the past, where they just crash land that ship right onto the planet, the icy planet.
So obviously the bridge crew survives the crash, then they cheer for Detmer, but she's obviously not okay.
Yeah, this whole episode, Detmer she's a little off. We don't know quite yet what's going on here. Can't put it together just yet. It doesn't look like it's something. It doesn't look like it's something that we noticed last season. So this could be something new. I don't know. We'll see. It comes up quite a few times in this episode.
So the ship's in pretty bad shape. Tactical systems, long-range comms, and in-ship communications are all down. They can't use their weapons, they can't contact Michael, they can't call for help or communicate remotely with others on board. And if that weren't enough, sensors are not responding.
We don't know where we are, and we don't know when we are, sir.
Reno chops this up to a plasma manifold rupture, so they have to fix this immediately. They gotta fix all the blown relays and conduits on the ship before they can fly again. So Saru splits everyone up into teams and prioritizes searching for the affected relays and conduits.
Then Tilly tells Saru there are large pockets on the surface where the atmosphere has higher levels of oxygen than the rest of the planet. So it seems like someone is making those pockets.
Oh, mining, something's happening here.
Saru thinks they're not on Terrelysium, and Tilly says there's an active settlement in one of the pockets, so there's life. So this is the moment for them. We had the moment with Michael last episode where they realize there's life, so they got away from control.
They're away from control, and they are nowhere near Terrelysium, apparently, or this was Terrelysium at some point, but we don't know yet. And it seems like we can confirm that at least there's life. They're happy about that. They don't care that they haven't found Terrelysium just yet. Then moments later, Bryce tells Saru that they need rubindium, or they can't fix this ship. There's nothing they can do, and he's going to need at least 6 hours to fix it.
Yeah, there's going to be no communications until then, so they got to get that rubindium. Then over in sickbay, Culber wakes up Stamets from his coma because they need his biobed for people who are worse off. He's surprised too when he hears this.
He just went through all of that, and now Stamets has just got to get out of bed and go back to work. It's time, buddy. Get out of here. Now, back with Detmer, as she walks into the medical bay, we're seeing the same thing happen again, where she's just out of whack, out of sorts, and Culber notices this. This is something that's going to, come back around later on this season, and I just don't know what it is yet. If anyone has any clues or ideas what you think it could be, let us know in the comment section down below. I think it has something to do with control, but that's just something
not.
right now, I think. I don't know. It just feels like the way they showed the last time on Star Trek, I feel like they're heavily implying that maybe control is not completely gone, or we'll see.
And we should also note that she passed her neurological tests, so nothing is wrong with her mentally. So maybe it's something that has to do with, the part that she has on her head. And I'm just not sure what that would be.
I feel like maybe they would have found, if it was control, though, at the same time, they would have noticed something. And if they checked it, I don't know. We'll see. Now, there isn't enough rubindium on board to make the repairs needed to restore communications, but Tilly says there's a settlement that she scanned that has a natural supply of it, and other unidentified minerals.
So they don't know what planet they're on, but they do know that the settlement has life signs, warp-capable ships, but no dilithium.
Next up, enter Giorgio. She makes her first appearance this season, and already I'm getting vibes like Loki and Thor Ragnarok with her. How Loki loved Sakaar, and he wanted to stay there and just settle down because it was a lawless land and planet. He loved it there. Same thing, I feel like
Giorgio would thrive in a lawless land.
Yes. So Giorgio is she's like ready to get off this ship and just go crazy, go ham. But Saru tells her, you know what, I'm taking Tilly with me on this trip. You're gonna have to stay here.
Intense.
Yeah, you're gonna need to stay here and fix the EPS grid.
And then a very stubborn Stamets wants to help with the EPS grid, despite the fact that he's in no shape to whatsoever. He finds a ruptured relay in a Jeffries tube, and Reno teams up with him against his wishes. And then later, Reno tries to convince Stamets to get Nielsen to go into the Jeffries tube, but he stubbornly insists on going himself.
So Saru and Tilly are off on their adventure together, and Tilly's having doubts of why Saru brought her with him. He tells her straight up, listen, your approach might be a lot more kinder than Giorgio's approach. So it's the perfect choice, I think, in my opinion. And also, I'm loving the fact that Tilly, right from the jump, when we get to this new crew in the season 3, she is brought back from the grave, I think, compared to the character we got from her in season 2, where she was just used as, you know, the punch up for any joke.
Making jokes.
Making jokes at her expense. Now it looks like they're going to give her another shot here with her character, and I am all for it because I really do love Tilly's character.
Yeah, she's great. I'm really hoping that we get more of this season. Then they make first contact with someone in the distance who sees them, and they decide to follow him. Now back at the Discovery, Nan has figured out that the ship is covered in parasitic ice that accelerates in the shade. Not good.
That's awesome, but yes, not good. I love it. The planet's alive.
They're in deep trouble come sundown.
Now, Giorgio and Nan have a quick discussion on everything and why they came to the future in the first place, and Giorgio brings up the whole thing about Section 31 and how she didn't want to run with them anymore, even though this seems like a nod, honestly, to what's going on behind the scenes with the actual television show.
Why haven't we gotten this spin-off yet? So, like, this kind of addresses that.
Section 31 would have begged me to take over sooner or later, and bureaucracy is where fun goes to die. I like jumping from universe to universe.
Sure. Okay. Just let's see what happens here with Section 31. I hope they didn't just wipe it under the floor and be like, we have Strange New Worlds. We'll get to Section 31 at some point.
Well, they were supposed to shoot this year in May, but they don't have a release date and they haven't started production yet, so who knows. Next, we reach the settlement, and it looks like there are floating rocks being mined. It looks like someone wanted to shut this place down also. Saru and Tilly follow the stranger and are transported to a bar entrance. Of course, everyone draws their weapons. Then the stranger, named Cal, knows they came from a Starfleet ship and asks them to prove that they're Starfleet officers.
Cal, bless his heart, he really believes they're out to, help him out. And of course, thank God they brought Tilly along in this trip. Saru was smart here, and she tells him straight up. She figures out that dilithium, yes, is very important here.
Yeah.
She calls it out. She says, guess what, guys? I got dilithium. And guns come down.
We can help each other.
Yep. The phasers are down, and everyone's now calmed down just a little bit so they can talk this out just for a moment.
Cal also tells them that the planet they're on doesn't have a proper name, but they call it the Colony. All of them are miners.
But even then, it seems like they have, the time is of the essence because someone's approaching.
And that someone they were warning them about is named Zara, and Ozir, the bartender, says they will have tracked them there.
Now, Cal starts fixing their translator with programmable matter. We saw this in the first episode of Mr. Sahir, and you can see how everything was just coming together out of nothing, like an Iron Man tech from Endgame. This looks like something that they can utilize very much in the future.
He also has a moment with Tilly where he kind of wonders if he could be Starfleet material, and he said he always believed that they would come to help him. So Ozir, the bartender, explains that Zira is their courier, and he's not just a courier, but a really mean one, because he basically stole the route and is exploiting them by giving them everything that they need and can't grow, which is pretty much everything. And so he beheaded the last courier, and he's been exploiting them ever since. He's just a bad dude all around.
Yeah, this is, again, a Mandalorian vibes here, Andromeda. Every week, I'm gonna say Andromeda. I should make a title sequence for this show that's Star Trek Andromeda. Someone will, I know it. But with that said, it's a lawless land, and you got Giorgio is. We'll see her later, but she's loving probably all of this. And speak of the devil, Zera, he shows up, he's in the room, and he's fully packed with the boots and spurs and henchmen. Again, Mandalorian vibes here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The way they were talking him up, though, like, when he walked in, he just didn't seem very threatening to me at all. And he just kind of seemed like this greasy, low-life criminal. And I was like, this is who we're afraid of? Like, this is where we're at right now. This is going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
Now, Zera says they registered a freaky signature right before they arrived with high-energy gamma rays and gravitational waves. So with that, he accuses them of being time travelers. He's correct, and he kills Cal. What the hell?
Poor sweet Cal. All he did
just
was
like
help
that.
them.
Of all people, sure, okay, this is how we start the new season. But all right, R.I.P. Cal, and I want to come back to this a little later on because I feel like Saru may have been able to stop this, but let's just leave it there for now.
Then Zera tells his men to scan the perimeter, and then he plans to sell Saru until he's vintage tech to the Orions. As we saw in the last episode, they just love that vintage tech. Zera tells Saru he has no authority here and that the burn was the best thing that ever happened to him, as it led to the Federation's downfall and allowed lawless criminals like him to roam free. And he says all that matters now is dilithium.
Now, Zera tells Saru that he is running out of time here because of that parasitic ice that's going to engulf the entire Discovery ship and kill everyone on board if they don't come up with a deal quickly. So they settle on 150 units of dilithium, and then they're going to just have Tilly race back before nightfall to take care of it. Sounds like a bad idea, bad plan here.
Seems like it wouldn't be enough time.
No, not at all. So sure enough, Giorgio enters the picture.
Yeah, Zera's henchmen found Giorgio walking the perimeter, they throw her inside, and then Zera just starts mouthing off with her, starts blasting her. She takes it, starts laughing. She is nuts. But in a very satisfying part of this episode, she just starts kicking butt all around. It's great.
Saru uses his, his special abilities here. His little
he shoots needles out of his head.
Yeah, he's shooting those needles out again, and I thought, why the hell didn't he use that earlier to save Cal? Poor Cal, he's gone, and he could have just thrown those out there, got rid of Zera at that point. But okay. I understand. Cool action scene, but also I'm a little confused with I guess the gun, the phaser was on stun or something for they were torturing Giorgio. Different settings. Okay, sure. I'm all for that too. I'm in, but damn, poor Cal.
All right, I also want to note that Giorgio just straight up killed some people, and then Saru stops her from killing Zera after we straight up just saw her snap someone's neck. No one said anything about that, but no. Sure, let's save Zera.
Sure, we gotta save him because he's gonna come back. Yeah, he's gonna come back at some point this season.
I don't want him to.
I know. Give us another villain, please. I really don't want Zera to be villain.
Literally anyone else.
Please, 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 I'm begging you. Don't bring him back. I'm sorry. I feel bad for the actor who might watch this and be like, oh, hell yes, this is my episode. I can't wait to see what people think of. Oh, it's Poochie the dog, the villain.
So at the end of the bar fight, daylight's gone, and the ice starts to encase the Discovery. Back on the ship, Reno gives Stamets verbal instructions as he looks for that ruptured relay. Of course, he gets injured, and he's struggled to make any repairs, but he pulls it off, and he brings systems back online.
So Saru leaves Zera's fate in Ozir's hands. He gives him the phaser and that blaster, and he's like, okay, dude, you can do whatever you want here. And, of course, because this is Star Trek.
He lets him walk out.
He lets him walk out.
Yeah, he's like, leave.
Zera's
and then they even give him Tilly's pack. What?
I know.
Sorry.
I know. But still, Zera's like, goodbye. I'll see you guys in like 4 or 5 episodes or something.
Yeah.
As, just when you don't want to see me. But okay. With that said, it's now time to head back to Discovery. And sure enough, guess what? They have those new transporters now, so they can. It's got easy transportation. I love this.
Then as operational systems start to come back, Detmer is spacing out again, and Saru tells her to lift off. As they struggle to break through the ice, a vessel appears above them, which they assume are enemies.
Nope, it's not. And you could call it, I'm pretty sure everyone's like, that's got to be Michael. It's Michael. It has to be Michael. And sure enough, Burnham, she has found her crew. And guess what? We were right. It's going to be, some time has passed. A whole year has passed. She has been in this time frame for quite some time now. And now we're going to get some answers, hopefully, in the next episode.
You know, a year is not so bad considering it could have been 1,000.
No. That hair is super long, though. We'll get into that in the next
is.
episode. There's got to be some extensions or something going on. We'll talk about that later. I love it. I love the look.
It looks great. It looks
yes.
great. All right, now on to things we noticed and Easter eggs. Jet Reno explains why the crew was knocked unconscious at the beginning of the episode.
Tidal forces from the wormhole, like G-forces, but nastier. Must have knocked us all out.
The tidal force, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, is the difference in gravity felt by all objects as they are pulled by the gravity of all other objects in the universe. So you can imagine how intense that force would be while traveling through a wormhole.
Reno offers a solution for locating the problem in the ship without sensors.
I can modify the tricorders, like I did on the Hiawatha.
As you may recall from Season 2's premiere, Reno has experienced surviving on a crashed ship as a former crew member of the USS Hiawatha that crashed during the Klingon War. Discovery had found Reno when they followed a red signal, which caused them to locate the wreckage of the Hiawatha on an asteroid. There, Reno is keeping a handful of crew members alive, all on her own.
The crew needs to fix a translator to get up and running. Translators are integral to a starship's power system. In 2268, Miles O'Brien accidentally disconnected a translator from the power grid of the USS Enterprise, causing a blackout in the DS9 episode Trials and Tribulations.
Speaking of translators, Discovery's broken translator requires rubindium. Rubindium is an element found in crystalline form. It is able to convert subspace radiation into translator current. It's also used in subcutaneous transponders, which are used to maintain contact between an away team member and their home ship.
Tilly tells Georgiou,
You have some Leland on your shoes.
We also see Jean cleaning up the remains later in the episode. In the Season 2 finale of Discovery, Georgiou trapped Leland, who was basically a zombie overtaken by control nanites, in the magnetized spore drive chamber, where he exploded.
Culber put Stamets into a cellular regeneration chamber. In DS9, a cellular regeneration and entertainment chamber was built by Dr. Elias Geiger in the 2370s. You can find it in the DS9 episode In the Cards.
Stamets repairs a ruptured relay in a Jeffries tube. On Starfleet vessels, these service crawlways gave the crew access to various systems of the ship. If turbolifts stopped working, for example, Jeffries tubes could be used to move around the ship. In the TNG episode Disaster, Riker and Data had to use the Jeffries tube to get around after heavy damage to the Enterprise blocked off access to engineering. Alright guys, that's it, but be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next breakdown of episode 3.
We'll be back here soon. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments section down below. Bye-bye.